Our speaker number one, Toastmaster Tim Taylor. Tim has been with Winter Park Toastmasters for at least 6 years, and he loves this club. He believes that being a Toastmaster is the best leadership training you can get for the money by far. Tim has owned his own IT business for many years, and he would like to share with you some of his secrets to success with his speech entitled, How to Be Successful in Business, the One Thing You Really Need to Know. Let's welcome former Toastmaster of the Year and a very shy individual, Tim Taylor.
Hello, fellow human beings. Today I'm here to talk to you about something that's as elusive as a leprechaun riding a unicorn. Success in business. Let me tell you, it's about as easy as catching a greased pig in a mud hole. But don't worry, my friends, I'm going to pacify you. I've got some ideas to help you along with your journey. First of all, networking is key. You've all heard that many times. But let's be real. Networking events are just an excuse to wear uncomfortable clothes, hang out with your friends, and get drunk, right? Instead of playing beer pong, you're trading who's got the best elevator speech. Another important aspect of business is being adaptable. But let's face it, being adaptable is just a fancy word of saying throw spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks, right? It's like being a circus performer. Instead of walking on a tightrope, you're walking on a bunch of bananas. Of course, it's also important to have a clear vision, right? You all heard that? But let's be honest, most of us are just making it up as we go along. It's like playing a game of Jenga, except with your life. In all seriousness, success in business does require hard work, dedication, willingness to take risks, and just remember the wise words of Dory from Finding Nemo, when things get tough, just keep swimming. Or in this case, keep hustling, networking, adapting until you find your sweet spot. That's the most important thing, the sweet spot. Once you have found it, whatever you do, and I mean this with all seriousness, do not stop. That is the most important thing I can tell you about success. After starting my own business from the trunk of my car, my success comes from not quitting. When I started my business, I was 40 years old. I had 3 kids. I had a mortgage. I had 2 car payments, and I had $500 in the bank. Were the odds stacked against me? Maybe. But I can tell you this, failure was not an option. I knew myself, and I knew how hard I was willing to work. If hard work was the determining factor, there was no way that I could lose. If you ask Linda Miller how many houses she has to show before she gets a sale, it's 10 to 15. What if she stopped at number 14? If you ask Carmelo Bellardo how many cold calls he has to make before he sells one of his private insurance plans, it's about 150. What if he stopped at 149? It does not matter if you work for someone else or you work for yourself. Not everyone has the entrepreneurial spirit. You have to be about half crazy to start your own business anyway. If you're working for someone else, all these things still apply, especially if you're in sales. Now, competitors, employees, the economy, fellow workers, family needs, global warming, Ukraine, everything is out to stop you. It will throw you curveballs. It will kick you in the stomach. It will knock you on your knees sometimes. But the ones who succeed are the ones that keep going. Have I had problems? You bet. Once I had 2 young guys that worked for me, I trained them from scratch. They didn't know anything when they came to work for me. After a few years of experience, they walked up and said, we're going to go start our own IT company. I said, good luck. They went out and started their own IT company, and suddenly I started losing clients to them. But they signed a non-compete with me, but they did it anyway. And I had a friend who was also a client, who was an attorney, who kept imploring me not to sue them. Over and over again, imploring me not to sue them. 6 months later, he dropped me and went with them. Did that hurt? Yes. Mainly because he was a friend. The operative word here is was. This was also right at the beginning of the 2008 recession. It took me 4 years to recover from that. You know, I saw something online the other day that I thought was perfect. It shows what it's really like to be in business for yourself. I don't know if any of y'all ever saw this. It was a little video that was online about two bears. They're climbing a mountain. Mother bear and the baby bear. This is an enormous mountain. You can't tell from this picture. But she's climbing up and he's trying to keep up with her. Very, very cute. He keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. And suddenly he slips and he slides way down the mountain. And he does not stop climbing. He just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. He gets almost to the top. He is within inches of his mother. She is reaching for him. Suddenly he slips, and he doesn't slide a little bit. He slides all the way to the bottom of the mountain, even past the snow line. Does he quit? No. What does he do? He keeps climbing, and he climbs, and he climbs, and he climbs, and he climbs until he and his mom are at the top. This is about a 7-minute video. He fell about 10 times, but he never stopped. That's one of the best representations of running your own business that I've ever seen. Will you have problems? Absolutely. Expect them. Anticipate them. 80% of small business startups fail within 10 years. Most fail within 5 years. Only 12% of small businesses survive 20 years. I have survived 25. By the way, the two young guys that were working for me, their business lasted about 4 years. They say he who laughs last, right? Winston Churchill, one of my favorite people of all time, said one of the truest statements I've ever heard about life and business. Success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. He also said one thing that's my favorite saying of all time. It's on the wall of my office. I see it every morning when I walk in. It's the first thing I see. You know what it says? Somebody said, "How do you succeed?" He goes, "Never, never, never give up." Let's say that together. Never, never, never give up. Do you want to succeed? That is what you do. Madam Toastmaster.